to another edition of Minimal Monday, the Minimal Monday wrap-up number 57. I am super excited for this week's edition. There were quite a few submissions this week, and it took me some time to sift through all of them. And I want to thank every single one of you for submitting this week. It was super exciting to see a lot of new names popping up, and I am even more excited to feature quite a few of those new names. So without further ado, let's get this thing on the road again. Oh geez, I just noticed something. Makeup artist, no makeup artists this week. I'll have to sit all episode like this. Anyways, the first image I'd like to feature is this awesome image by Catherine Dijkstra. She's a photographer from BC, Canada, so she's a fellow Canadian. And she posted this beautiful square this week of this breakwater. And I've been trying to put into words why this image works for the last 10 minutes or so. And it is so hard to do for me personally to like sum up all the points that I like in this photograph. And yeah, this thing just puts chills down my spine. It's that good. This photograph, we see that rock in the foreground, and it's just a little bit off center, but it balances so well with that, with the breakwater itself, and that beautiful, all the detail in the rock, all the detail in the sound, the foreground sound, and then that would be good on its own, but Catherine was a little bit lucky, I guess, when those two people went onto the breakwater, and just those two people give you a sense of scale, and that instead of this image being a little bit more of an architectural image, it becomes an environmental portrait almost. Really awesome image. I mean, this is no doubt this gets my my Fab of the Day award this week. Beautiful photography, Catherine. Check her out. I've been going through her photo stream and her albums for a bit, and there's some really good stuff in there. So put her in one of your circles, and I don't think you will be disappointed. Okay, the second photograph I'd like to feature is this very minimal square by Daniel Grobner. I'm pretty much pronouncing your name wrong again. I'm very sorry. Daniel, was saying that he photographed this just on the side of the road. He just jumped out of his car when he saw this, and trust me, I would jump out of my car too. But here's the interesting fact about this photograph. I love this, and this was for a long, long time my absolutely favorite photograph for the day. Just because, I mean, this photograph shows you the exact conditions I love shooting in. Overcast skies, not really directional lighting, beautiful, perfect snow-covered fields. And Daniel was saying that he just jumped out of his car when he saw this. And here's the interesting fact I want to share with you is, if you look at this photograph, you feel the silence, you feel the purity of this all. And this can be shot next to, for all we know, like a 6-lane highway, right? And that's the beauty of photography, you can lie. And looking at this, Daniel is a really good liar. I love I mean, it's a simple composition, rule of thirds, 1/3 snow, 2/3 sky. Yeah, and it almost feels like this is photographed in film. It has the same qualities of a good, negative. Just the subtleties, the subtle colors. Really well done, Daniel. Daniel is our second newcomer this week, so welcome to Minimal Monday. And I hope you join us some more, because this photography is awesome. All right, thank you for your submission this week, Daniel, and hopefully see you next week. The third photograph I'd like to feature is one by Anthony Owen Jones. He submitted this really weird looking fence, or I don't know what it is. It's a fence in some lake or something. I believe he said this was photographed in Wales in the United Kingdom. I just hope I didn't offend you by saying Wales and United Kingdom in one sentence. If I did, I'm sorry. But no, it's just a joke. But yeah, this is the weirdest thing ever. It's a beautiful long exposure photograph and of a really peculiar, I would almost say, peculiar subject. Because I don't know what people use it for, but it seems like it goes on forever and ever and ever. It almost touches like the horizon. it's pretty wicked. And actually, I'm just, while I'm seeing these things here, I'm actually trying to I'm looking at the photograph here, and I believe there's a bird sitting on one of the fences in the back. I really love the sky in this long exposure photograph, and interesting choice on keeping the rocks in the foreground too. Beautiful toning, beautiful sense of light. Great work. And Anthony is our third newcomer of the week. I think you're starting to see the team here. Beautiful work, Anthony. I hope you join us some more too. Right, the fourth image I'd like to feature is one by Benoit Janssen. And I know he's a regular, right? No, he's not a newbie. And I say this with a lot of love, noobs. While we're on the topic of seascapes, long exposure seascapes, Benoit is one of the masters of doing long exposure seascapes. And this week he added this perfectly symmetrical square to the theme as a subject. I think it's like a buoy, a little, a marker of some sort in the sea, in the ocean. What I love about Benoit's work is it's very detailed, and if you look at that buoy, there's so much detail in there. I can only imagine what the full res photograph of it, how much detail that will show. And I love the use of gradients in this photograph as well. Like a lot of people do this, burn in the sky on top, burn in the sky on the bottom, but not a lot of people know that the horizon line can be accentuated as well. Benoit, this is awesome photograph, man. I like this one a lot. Very subtle. Love the there's a little subtle detail in the water going on as well. But yeah, minimalism at its best. That's I can't say a lot about this photograph because it's so perfect. So yeah, well done. Right, while we're on the topic of seascapes, here's a beautiful photograph by David Orr. It's a seascape, but it shows you that even though the subject is almost the same as Benoit's, a seascape, long exposure seascape, you can get away with a lot of different styles in this part of in this little niche of minimalistic photography, and David has a particular style. I like this composition. The foreground reef or rock or whatever it is was beautifully placed on 1/3 from the bottom. There's not a lot of contrast in this photograph. That is something I like. And then again, the beautiful gradients on the horizon and burning in the sky really works well in this photograph. And just those rocks on the horizon line there, it just adds that tension to the whole frame. To the are these two rock configurations like linked, or are they? You have no sense of scale in this one, in this photograph. You don't know how far that island or those rocks in the back, how far away those are. It can be very close and shot with a wide angle, or this photograph can be photographed with a zoom lens. You don't know, and that's the beauty of photography again. Beautiful, good work, David. Well done. Thank you for your submission this week too. Appreciate it a lot. The next photograph I'd like to feature is the one by Sharon Thomas. She added another one of her beautiful work from White Sands, New Mexico, and this one is particularly of interest to me. Again, I talked about this a bit in previous editions. I really love juxtapositions between male and female subjects, and here the male object is definitely the rugged mountains in the background, and the female subject is the dune, the beautifully curved dune with all the subtle ripples in the foreground. And there's a beautiful leading line in this photograph, but a lot of people will say like, oh yeah, it starts somewhere in the middle and then goes upwards to the right, but it actually starts in the bottom right corner, and all those ripples that form this funnel, and then they collide into this line, and then they take you on this loop-de-loop almost, and into this frame, and it's such a dynamic frame. It is composed using the rule of thirds again, and this image shows you why this is such an interesting rule to to use during your compositions. I love the contrast of the white sand, obviously, with the darker mountains, and that forms a nice big triangle too. So we've talked about the power of triangles before too in these wrap ups, and yeah, Sharon's work is definitely up there with the best when it comes to photographing white sands, in my opinion. The stuff that I've seen from her from that location is yep, it makes me want to go there. So good job, Sharon. Thank you for joining us again this week. All right, next photograph. I'd like to feature this one by Andy Lee. Andy is a master of light. I really like his work, and often his photographs are I butcher his photographs in these wrap-ups, because for some reason my video format doesn't like all the subtle gradations in his work. So do check his work out on his own Google Plus page. This photograph is again this one is maybe not his best, but it definitely grows on you. When I selected it initially, I saw it differently than I see it now, and that is interesting. And what I mean by that is, often, photographs give you an initial impression, and that's your business card, right? And if an image, gives me, every time I look at it, gives me a different impression, that is probably an interesting image. And Andy, again, composed using the rule of thirds, put the lighthouse pretty much on the bottom right 1/3, intersection there, on with the horizon on the 1/3 from the bottom. But Andy's work is often based around light, and his post processing techniques are, yeah, really well developed. So I yeah, I like this a lot. This is processed with a clear vision in mind, and that is that is a photographer's dream, to find that vision. That should be one of the most important trips or searches that you can do as a photographer. Find your own vision, and Andy clearly has found his, and is perfecting his with every image he makes. So you probably know him by now. So if you don't, add him to your circles. Check out his website. Do Google search on him. You will find more images like this, and that you can enjoy. Right, the next photograph I'd like to feature is one by Richard Frankel. He added this nice little intimate sea scene due to theme. Not really a landscape, but it's so subtle that I like to feature it. Basically, the subject is simple. Everybody would, a lot of people would just pass this by, but it's this little stick sticking out of the sand, and Franco photographed this in such a way that he saw that the stick was making this beautiful little reflection, and he played around with that a little bit. And this photograph is full of subtleties. Like, you can see the rocks through the silky smooth water, and you can see every foreground little speck of sand. The water makes this beautiful cross pattern on top of the image. Yeah, this is just a really good, well balanced photograph that I like. Maybe it's not the most minimalistic minimalistic photograph, but nonetheless it's a very beautiful one. And Richard is also one of this week's newcomers. So yeah, welcome Richard, and thank you for your submission. Okay, the next and last photograph I'd like to feature is a photograph by Robert van Koesveld. He's an Australian photographer, and he photographs oh Jesus, it's getting late. He photographed this foggy landscape, these cliffs in China, and he writes that that scene has become famous thanks to the movie Avatar. I haven't seen the movie, so I cannot relate to this, but this has a beautiful quality to it. If this was a square, I would almost say that this is a Michael Canna shot. And it's, again, a great example of vision, how a photographer can see a probably very dynamic scene, very like in detail in front of him, and then decides on doing something that would make this a simpler scene to view. So Robert used the fog as a big kind of skylight, and this is almost photographed as well. This is photographed backlit, and it's, like I said, it's a very Michael Kenna ish shot. If this was square, this is beautiful. I don't mean you need to cut it square. I'm just saying, if Michael Kenna would shoot vertical, this is what it would look at, what it would look like. So yeah, no, wonderful work. Robert is again a newcomer. That is our fourth newcomer this week, and featured in the wrap up. That's a pretty amazing percentage there. I hope to have you on board some more, Robert. I hope I can see some more of your work. And thank you for your submission this week. Alright, I have one more photograph to show you. And this is kind of a little exception to the landscape rule. So this is my official exception. By Mr. Nate Parker. He photographed this beautiful series of snow abstracts this week. You should check him out because the whole collection is pretty much stunning. It's just stunning work. It is very simplified, very dynamic work, black and white, lots of lines going on. Like for instance, like in this photograph that he submitted this week, I'm speechless, man. Like this is it's definitely a deviation from what Nate is usually doing, and it's great to see him experiment with a different format. Are you going square now? We're still doing 4x5s. I like how, I don't know if this, like here's the thing. I don't know what this is. I know this is snow, obviously, but is this white snow on black asphalt, or is this just a cranked up shadow by something? Doesn't matter. It just is abstract photography at its finest, and that is what I like about this guy. He every time he pushes himself a little bit further, and yeah, do check out this whole series because there's some astonishing good work in there. Yeah, well, that was it for this week. I featured 11 photographs, so usually I try to keep it around 20 minutes. I hope I did it this week without making these video wrap-ups too long. But this was a very, very good week with, like I said, throughout the video, lots of newcomers. And that makes me very happy. That means a lot to me that people like this little team. So yeah, until until next week, and I hope this guy's gone by then. Oh yeah, I should like give you a little zoom, like zoom. Anyways, see y'all next week.